The message arrived 3 days before Christmas, and it landed like a quiet explosion. Emma Carter was standing in line at a crowded coffee shop in downtown Seattle when her phone buzzed. Holiday music played overhead, people laughed, and the air smelled like cinnamon and roasted beans. Emma barely noticed any of it once she read the family group chat. "We're canceling Christmas this year. Too much going on. Please don't make plans." That was it. No call, no explanation. Just a flat sentence that erased everything Emma had been holding on to. For a moment, she thought it had to be a mistake. The Carter family did not cancel Christmas. Ever. Christmas was tradition, memory, and comfort all wrapped into one. It was her reason for flying across the country every year, no matter how busy or tired she was. Her hands trembled as she stepped out of line and moved toward the window. Emma typed back. "Canceled? Is everyone okay?" The typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared, then nothing. Her chest tightened. A strange feeling settled in her stomach, something cold and sharp. People brushed past her, rushing through their lives, while Emma stood frozen with her phone glowing in her hand. She paid for her coffee without tasting it and walked back to her apartment in a daze. Snowflakes drifted down from a gray sky, landing on her coat and melting before she noticed. The city felt louder than usual, brighter than usual, and somehow lonelier. At home, Emma set the cup down untouched and stared at the small Christmas tree she had decorated the night before. It looked silly now, glowing in an apartment that suddenly felt empty. She tried to tell herself it was practical. Her parents were getting older. Her brother had kids. Life was busy. Things changed. But deep down, she knew this wasn't just about plans. Emma had moved away from Vermont 3 years earlier after a painful breakup she never talked about. Seattle had been a fresh start. New job, new routine, new version of herself. Still, Christmas was the one thing that stayed the same. It reminded her she hadn't lost her place in the family. Now, it felt like that place had quietly closed. That night, Emma barely slept. Her mind kept spinning with questions that had no answers. Why cancel without calling her? Why now? Why did it feel like she was being pushed out instead of invited in? The next morning, her phone rang. It was her mother. Emma hesitated before answering. "Hi, Mom." "Emma," her mother said, and right away something felt off. Her voice was careful, tight, like she was choosing each word. "How are you?" Emma didn't play along. Why was Christmas canceled? There was silence. Not the normal kind, but the heavy kind that comes before bad news. "Sweetheart," her mother finally said, "we need to talk." Emma sat down on the edge of her couch. Her heart began to pound. About what? About the message, her mother replied. About Christmas. Emma closed her eyes. "Just tell me the truth." Another pause. A deep breath. "Christmas isn't canceled," her mother said quietly. The words didn't make sense at first. "What?" Emma asked. Her mother's voice trembled. "We said that so you wouldn't come." The room seemed to tilt. "You lied to me," Emma whispered. "We thought it was best," her mother said quickly. "We didn't want to hurt you." Emma laughed softly, but there was no humor in it. "You didn't want to hurt me, so you told me my favorite holiday was erased." Her mother didn't answer right away. When she did, her voice was full of regret. "We were afraid of what might happen if you came." Emma stood up and paced the room. Her hands were shaking now. Afraid of what? There was a long silence on the line. Then her mother said, "Daniel is coming home for Christmas." Emma stopped moving. Daniel. The name hit her like a wave, pulling her back years in an instant. Late night talks. Shared dreams. Quiet promises. And then the ending that never really ended. Emma swallowed hard. Daniel Harper. "Yes," her mother said. "The apartment felt too small, too quiet. So you canceled Christmas to keep me away from him. We thought it would be too painful," her mother said. "For both of you." Okay. Emma felt something crack inside her. "You didn't even ask me." Her mother's voice softened. "We were trying to protect you." "No," Emma said firmly. "You were protecting yourselves." The call ended soon after. But Emma stayed frozen long after the screen went dark. Her heart was racing, her thoughts tangled. They had decided for her. They had chosen comfort over honesty. Daniel was coming back. The man she left behind without closure. The man whose absence had followed her across the country. That night, Emma didn't unpack her suitcase. Instead, she opened her laptop and booked a flight to Vermont. The decision felt reckless and necessary at the same time. If her family could lie to her, she could show up anyway. The flight landed in the early evening. Snow covered the ground like a fresh sheet, softening the familiar streets of her hometown. As Emma drove toward her parents' house, memories rushed in. Every corner felt heavy with the past. When she pulled into the driveway, her breath caught. There was a car parked there she recognized immediately. Daniel's. Emma sat in the car for a long moment, staring at it. Her heart pounded so loudly she thought she might hear it over the engine. Part of her wanted to turn around and drive back to the airport. Instead, she stepped out into the cold. Inside the house, voices filled the air. Laughter, movement, Christmas lights blinked softly along the walls. It all looked normal, warm, alive. Until she walked into the living room. The room went silent. Her parents stood frozen. Her brother's smile faded. And then Daniel turned around. Their eyes met. Time slowed. Daniel looked older but still familiar. His hair was shorter, his face more serious. When he saw Emma, his expression shifted from surprise to something deeper. Regret, relief, longing. Emma. He said quietly. She took a steady breath. I was told Christmas was canceled. No one spoke. I guess that wasn't true, she continued. Her mother stepped forward, tears in her eyes. Emma, we didn't expect. I know, Emma said. That's the problem. She looked back at Daniel. Their history sat heavy between them, unsaid and unfinished. I didn't come to cause trouble, Emma said calmly. I came because I deserved the truth. Danya nodded slowly. So did I. The air felt thick with everything that had been avoided for years. Emma set her bag down. She didn't know what would happen next. She only knew one thing. Christmas had never been canceled. It had been hidden. And now the truth was standing right in front of her. The moment Emma stepped through the front door, the air seemed to hold its breath. Snow had fallen all day, coating the Vermont streets in a quiet, magical white. And the house looked like it had stepped right out of a holiday card. But inside, the familiar warmth of Christmas lights and the faint smell of pine couldn't hide the tension she felt. Every laugh, every footstep, every clink of dishes seemed to echo in her chest. She had flown across the country on a decision she barely allowed herself to think through. And now she was here, standing in the doorway of a home she once thought she understood. Her parents froze as she walked in. And for a moment, no one spoke. Emma's heart pounded, her suitcase heavy in her hand. And then she saw him, Daniel, the man whose name had haunted her quietly for years, whose absence had shaped every holiday since. He looked up, his eyes widening slightly in shock, then softening into something she couldn't immediately name: regret, relief, longing. Emma, he said, his voice low, careful, as if speaking too loudly might shatter everything between them. I wasn't invited, Emma said, her tone steady, though her chest felt like it might burst. But I came anyway. The words hung in the air, as strong and undeniable as the snow falling outside. She didn't want to fight. She didn't want to argue. She wanted the truth, and she wanted it now. Daniel took a step forward, then stopped, uncertainty flashing across his face. Emma, he began, but she cut him off with a shake of her head. No, I need to hear it from you. Why did they lie? Her mother appeared behind him, eyes glistening. We didn't want to hurt you, Linda said softly, her voice shaking. We thought it would be easier if you didn't come. Emma's laugh was short, bitter. Easier for who? She demanded. You erased my Christmas so I wouldn't see him. That's easier. She could feel the tears welling, not just from anger, but from years of longing, of missed chances, of wondering if she would ever have closure. Daniel's gaze dropped to the floor. I left without explaining, he admitted quietly. I was scared. Scared that seeing me again would bring up old wounds. I never stopped caring, Emma. I just didn't know how to fix it." Emma's heart clenched at his words. The old hurt mixed with the hope she had tried to bury, the hope that maybe, just maybe, they could start again. She set her suitcase down and finally let herself look at him fully. Every detail was familiar, the curve of his jaw, the way his eyes softened when he looked at her, the quiet strength he carried. The years had passed, but he was still the same man she had loved once. The one who had left a mark she could never erase. "I didn't stop caring either," she whispered, her voice barely audible. It felt like a confession, a release, a bridge spanning years of silence. Daniel's hand twitched as if he wanted to reach for hers, but stopped himself. The tension between them was sharp, real, and fragile. For the next few hours they didn't speak much. Words felt inadequate. Instead, they moved through the house, exchanging glances, small gestures, memories resurfacing like old songs. Daniel showed her the tree he had decorated, the small ornaments she had given him years ago still hanging on the branches. Her parents watched quietly, relief mingling with guilt, knowing that for the first time in years Emma was here, fully present, and Daniel was facing her honestly. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, Emma found herself in the kitchen. Snow fell silently outside, and the house was still, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Daniel joined her without knocking, leaning against the counter. They didn't speak at first, just letting the quiet stretch between them, letting the weight of everything unsaid fill the space. Finally, he spoke. "I thought I could handle being away from you, but seeing you now, I realize I never really could." His voice was soft, earnest, vulnerable. Emma felt a lump form in her throat. She wanted to reach for him, to close the distance that had grown over years of absence. But she hesitated, unsure if it was right, unsure if it was too late. "I was hurt too," she admitted, her voice steady despite the emotion behind it. "Not just by what happened between us, but by being left out, by being lied to. I almost missed this Christmas entirely because of it." Daniel nodded, understanding without needing her to explain further. "I never wanted you to feel like that. I was foolish, scared. I thought distance would protect us both, but it didn't." He paused, eyes searching hers. "It only made everything harder." Emma let out a shaky breath, the tension in her shoulders slowly releasing. "Then we start now," she said. "No more lies, no more hiding." Daniel smiled faintly, a mix of relief and hope, and finally reached out. Not with grand gestures, not with words that tried to fix the past, but with a simple touch, fingertips brushing hers. It was enough. It said everything they both needed to hear. Christmas morning arrived softly, with sunlight spilling through the windows and snow glinting on the streets outside. The house was alive with laughter, chatter, and the faint scent of cinnamon and pine. Emma woke to the warmth of family she had missed, but the real gift was the quiet understanding she shared with Daniel. No dramatic confessions, no rushed reconciliations, just the gentle rebuilding of trust and connection. She joined her family at the table, and for the first time in years, she felt seen, valued, and at home. Daniel sat across from her, their hands occasionally brushing, sharing a private language of touch and glance. There was no need for declarations or explanations. The truth had been spoken, and it was enough throughout the day. Emma realized that Christmas had never truly been canceled. It had been delayed, hidden beneath lies and fear, but not lost. Sometimes the best gifts aren't wrapped in paper or tied with bows. Sometimes the best gifts are the moments of honesty, of vulnerability, and of connection that arrive when you least expect them. By evening, as the family gathered around the fireplace, the house warm and bright, Emma felt a sense of closure and peace she hadn't known for years. Daniel leaned slightly closer, and she felt the years melt away. They didn't need to rush or force anything. This Christmas was theirs in a way that no cancellation or secret could take away. The snow continued to fall softly outside. The world outside hushed and peaceful as Emma realized something simple yet profound. Sometimes The truth takes time to arrive, but when it does, it changes everything. And this year, for the first time in a long time, Emma was exactly where she was meant to be, home seen, and ready to embrace the future with an open heart. The night ended quietly, the kind of quiet that feels full, satisfying, and real. Emma knew there would be challenges ahead, conversations to have, and emotions to navigate. But for now, she let herself be fully present. She let herself feel joy, connection, and hope, knowing that Christmas had given her something more valuable than gifts or decorations. It had given her clarity, reconciliation, and the chance to start again with someone who had always mattered most. And as she drifted to sleep that night, the house softly glowing with Christmas lights, Emma understood that the real magic of the season wasn't in the tree, the presents, or the snow. It was in the truth, the courage to face it, and the love that had quietly waited for her all along.